Here at Santa Susana, it is a requirement to take an English class once every year. Our teachers like to assign us some hardcore literature books from our own library. A week ago, we asked you guys on our Instagram and from QR codes around the school your opinion on these books. From, 1984 to Kill a Mockingbird. Now, we're gonna ask some of our English teachers their opinion on these reports that you sent here on Book Report Live.
I'm Miss Volchok, and I teach 11th grade CP English. And my favorite book to read in 11th grade is The Great Gatsby.
Hi, I'm Mr. Morales. I teach 9th and 10th grade CP English here at Santa Susana High School. It's my first year here, really excited to be at Santa Susana. And my favorite book so far this year has been Lord of the Flies, but we'll get into more of that later.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Bradley. I teach English 12 ERWC and English 9, and I guess today we're reviewing books that we read in class.
Hello, Ms. Volchok. Today I have some book reports that will be The Great Gatsby and The Crucible for you to read, submitted by your own 11th graders around this school.
This person said I didn't read it because it was boring. Well, the joke is you didn't have to read it, you just had to listen because other people read it out loud to you, so that's sad. And The Great Gatsby, kind of mid, not gonna lie. That is a lie though, so as I said, my favorite book. The Great Gatsby is not mid because it is an American classic and it was shorter than all the other textbooks options that I was provided, and I thought I was being nice by giving it to my students instead of making them read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn that is twice as long.
Why is it important that we read these books?
Because I think it's important to know that the American dream is not what it used to be. I think in terms of The Crucible, it's also important to know that one group or one person can change an entire society's mindset. And that's how, unfortunately, we get horrible situations and wars when people are assuming or spreading rumors or making up lies. And that is also something that happens here. You guys spread rumors and make lies about each other. And I hope that by reading The Crucible, that stops that kind of behavior.
Hi, Mr. Morales. So we have some reports from fellow students of yours about some of our favorite books, Lord of the Fly and Fahrenheit 451. And you are going to grade your opinion on what you think about these reports.
All right, sounds good. All right, first one we've got is Fahrenheit 451. All right. Although outdated, the book provides a terrifyingly logical view of censorship and the lack of cultural depth in a universe where all content is devoid of anything seen offensive by any group. Also, Beatty is a W fireman. I don't know if that means water fireman. I don't know if that's his middle initial. So we're gonna correct that. He's just a fireman. But the irony is that he's a fireman who starts fire. I will say that the lack of cultural depth, that sounds very relevant today. I mean, I'm gonna go home and watch some reality TV after this. So I'm gonna give it a solid B+. One little typo there. There we go. All right, next up we got Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies, most boring book ever, like IDK, why we're reading it. Well, we're reading it so that we don't say things like IDK and that we have fun learning about kids, murdering each other, the depth of humanity, how terrible they are to each other. I'm gonna give this an F because it is not boring. I can think of plenty of students who would say yes to violence, yes to kids killing each other, no to fascist. All right. And finally, Fahrenheit 451. My thoughts on the book, Fahrenheit 451, was that it was an interesting book. I personally do not like books, but this one I could just imagine and picture. Other people I know that's the wrong word, not fond of the book, which I think you just have to have the creativity. How I see the book is another typo. A world that is on autopilot, everything gray, everything people listen to and follow a daily routine. Till one guy runs into someone he doesn't follow, who doesn't follow it. This is so fun, correcting on the fly. doesn't follow it, which makes him soon realize how wrong everything is, which makes him not on autopilot anymore. I can always imagine everything that goes on, and is one of the few books that I really enjoy. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed this book. I will enjoy when you check your spelling next time you submit something. And I would say that everyone is on autopilot in this world in Fahrenheit 451. Hopefully we get some creative thinking. Hopefully your classmates soon realize that, hey, this book is important because we can't be wearing our headphones all the time and ignoring each other. Hopefully you guys are as good at lip reading as Montag's wife is, because you guys wear them all the time. I'm gonna give this a solid C+.
Now that you've listened to all these reviews, do you agree with any of them?
Well, I am glad that someone actually enjoyed the book, even though they said their classmates didn't. Lord of the Flies, I definitely don't agree with what they said there. It is not a boring book. Like I said, death, mayhem, destruction. What more do you want in a book? It's so entertaining.
Why do you think it's important that we do read these books? Because a lot of people just don't see importance in them and don't really understand. What do you think is the importance of us reading these?
I think these books, both of them, are incredibly relevant today. Like we talked about with Fahrenheit 451, the one person who talked about people being on autopilot, not thinking creatively, not really understanding the people in the world around them, and letting technology kind of run their lives, especially with ChatGPT. I think we can all be a little more careful about how we use technology as a tool to help us, not to run our lives. And with Fahrenheit 451, like I said, we can all go back and look at World War II, see all the terrible leaders that came out of that, and we really got to take that message to heart and understand that we can't let violence and short-term goals oversee our or overcome our sense of what's better in the long run, how do we work together and prevent violence from destroying us.
So, Miss Bradley, we have some anonymous reports about two of your books, Hamlet and 1984, for you to grade and judge.
All right, let's get to it. So first we have a Hamlet review. It says, Hamlet, kinda funny, made me giggle. The plot was weird though, and the end was kinda sad. Well, we're not gonna grade down for the misspelling of though. Some good review there, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Of course, we have a lot of non-specifics. I'd like to hear more about what was funny and made you giggle and what was kind of sad. So we're gonna give that one a C. 1984, I despise it with every fiber of my being. Ugh, at the mention of it. Winston is just so, emoji faces. The ending was so unsatisfying, but I completely expected that from someone like him. Actually, that one amuses me. And gives some specific details, so we're gonna give that one an A review. Also on 1984, a very twisted book with a post-apocalyptic story. Sometimes it feels like I'm being watched while writing this. Wait. Well, maybe not while writing it, but certainly while writing about it. Mostly plot, though. Not too much on the opinion, except the feeling of being watched, so we're gonna give that one a B. 1984, terrible, just god-awful. Doesn't really say much of anything except that you didn't like it, but not why. And not liking it doesn't mean it's not good, it just means you didn't enjoy it. So we're gonna give that one an incomplete. We'd like a little more information on what your problem is. Thank you much.
Well, what's your opinion on these? Like, what do you think about these?
Well, they're both classics that have a lot to do with modern politics and the way the world is run, so they're relevant. 1984 with Big Brother, everybody knows about Big Brother, whether they've read the novel or not, and the whole concept of being watched. We have a TV show called Big Brother. The whole idea is all around us, so it's good to read the book at least once in your life, but I would agree that Winston is really a very unappealing character, and there's a lot about the story that can be a bit overbearing and it's slow moving, but it's one, like I said, you should read it at least once in your life. Let's let this be it and we can all move on.
Do you think it's very important for us to read these books, or are they books that you think we could probably go without?
I think I would defend Hamlet more than 1984, other than the fact that 1984 is so endemic in society. But Hamlet, I think, retains its relevance more accurately. 1984 is very much a dystopian fantasy, and while we've made certain moves in that direction, I think there are other books that would also teach that the kids would find more interesting.
Thank you for submitting your book reports. Now, back to you in the studio.